Okay, so there are two processes that occur in conversion of your dreams into symbolic forms. The dreams take the symbolic form in two manners. One is called condensation, the other is called displacement. Condensation means a whole set of images is converted into a single statement. A whole set of images is converted into a single statement. Now that's easy to understand. Say there is a lot that you want to, the wish fulfillment that I gave you the example in the previous example that we had on the board about how an individual organism has many whims in the it, which can associate with greed, lust, gluttony, the seven cardinal sins of Christianity, anything, any of that, those animalistic desires. And how does the wish fulfillment happen through the symbol, through its symbolic representation? Is the exactly one of the examples that I gave you is like eating an apple can show this, and there can be many other ways in which you are doing this. If you have read any of Kashmiri literature, tell me there are many wish fulfillments of all the id, the collective id of the people, uh, desires of something. There is a collective desire. So therefore, there are certain sets of dreams. There are certain a whole set of images, which are common to all the people collectively, and we give a collective symbolic form to them. What do we see? There is one collective. Their dreams can either be wish fulfillments of desires, or they can dramatize your fears. Now, give me examples. What the example I gave you of was fulfillment of a desire. Okay. Now, the desire. Now what I'm talking about is fears. So there are also a few fears in you, inside you, that your unconscious doesn't even allow to bring up into your ego. And if it does, it will shock your existence. What does it do? It gives a symbolic form to your fears. Give me an example. Give me an example. What is the collective desire or collective fear of we as a community that we dream of? We all share that dream, which is a symbolic form of the fears we all collectively do. Okay, desire is of the desire is of getting rid of getting rid of the presence of the oppressive regime. And what are the fears? What are the fears? Exactly, excellent. Losing our loved ones. We fear losing our loved ones because of the same presence of the oppressive regime. We fear anytime our loved ones, we can lose them. And they're only men. So, what do we collectively dream of in the process? What symbolic form does it give to your fear? So, each one of you come up with a dream that you have dreamt of. The fear is of losing your loved ones because of the oppressive regime. Each one of you, tell me, what have you dreamt of? What have you dreamt of? That's a symbolic form of the fears or the desires associated with getting rid of the presence of the oppressive regime or losing your loved ones at their hands because they don't work by reason when it comes to arresting the men of our families. There is no justice process that functions in arresting our loved ones or killing them. So give me examples. What have you dreamt of? Quickly, don't waste my time. Quickly, it's already 12:33. Okay, one of the person, as you can see in the chat, says that this person has dreamt of a close one dying in a protest after Friday prayers. A close one dying in a protest after Friday prayers. Where is the symbolic form given to the dream? Close one dying is not depicted clearly, the close one dying, but the symbolic form given to it something are the images that one is familiar with and is not shocked by that. The familiar images is someone dying in a Friday prayer. These are familiar images. You see people dying after Friday prayers, right? Every day it comes in your newspaper. So it doesn't shock you anymore. It doesn't shock your existence. The second one says this person has dreamt of the brother being arrested and it rained of blood. It rained of blood. The showers of blood. The showers of blood is a symbolic representation of the bloodshed. This person would not ordinarily accept the bloodshed of the brother. It would shock the existence of this person, quote unquote, the self of that person. So, what is the symbolic representation? It takes the forms of rain. It rains shower. It rains of blood. The third one says that this person has dreamt of the father looking in the mirror, but only this person was able to see. Father looking in the mirror, but only this person was able to see in the mirror. Where is the symbolic? Where is the symbolic representation? Where is the symbolic representation of the mirror image? It's the Electra complex. It's not associated with these fears and desires, it's the other desire and fear associated with the love for the father. Anybody else? I have dreamt of my father being attacked by army men with gun butts, and I'm not able to do anything. But I come after some time in the same room where I had seen them beating my father, and I don't find my father, and I believe they have taken him up, and I feel helpless. Taken is equivalent to he is no more in our case. Taken up, picked up means you will never get to see that person if he's picked up. The absence in mirror can be read as the lack. Like I said, Lacanian lack that we are yet to come to. Lacanian lack. Okay, that's an end to the condensation idea that we were doing. Let's come to displacement next. I hope this is clear. So, how does displacement work now? The other is displacement, where you are displacing the images. Displacing the images means you have some fear, you have a fear of a knife. Okay, you fear a knife. So the displacement would be you would see something on the table, Something is on the table, but the knife is there too. There is a knife as well, but you will not dream of the knife on the table, but anything other than the knife. You will dream of, say, a soup bowl. What's the association? The association, the metonymic association is that this too is present on the table where the knife is. You can see a glass of water. The association would be something near it, the knife. The mind will not allow this knife to enter the ego. The mind will not allow the knife image to enter the ego. But what will it do? It will displace the idea. Say if you think the knife will cut you and kill you in this dream where displacement occurs, it will be the glass that is killing you. It will be the glass that's killing you somehow. The glass breaks, and a piece of the glass, um, you walk over a piece of the glass, and there is a profuse blood flow, and you die. This is displacement. Where the knife, the fear of knife was displaced over a glass. Is it clear? So, how does the brain do that? For doing all this, what does the brain do? The brain takes the images. Where does the brain get these images from? This image of a table. The images that the brain takes, your mind takes for a dream is from your day's residues. The day's residue means there have been a lot of observations that you make in a day, but there are major things that you see that you pay a lot of attention to, and there are minor things that you do not pay attention to. Minor things that did not catch your attention in the day. These minor things is what becomes the residue that's picked up by the mind and converted into the image that it needs for displacement or for condensation. These day's residues are mixed up in the events which have taken place during the day, or it mixes up with the sensations that occur while you are asleep. These are called somatic reasons, somatic factors that you dream of. Say, for example, you're feeling cold, the sensation of cold, you feel the sensation of cold, or you feel the sensation of heat. You see this happening in your dream. So the day's residue is mixed up with the events that you sense in your body. The somatic sensations that you feel of cold, of heat, of pain, of anything, that too enters into your mind and mixes up with the minor events that have occurred during the day. During your sleep, you see that, or somebody is talking, that talk becomes part of your dream, so that your dream is not disturbed, your state of dream is not disturbed, you're not woken up from your dream because your desires are being fulfilled, your fears are coming out, and that vent is very important for the mind. It's very important that people dream, according to Freud. And this is what uh, this is what the raw material of dreams are. Other than this, it's also drawn deep from your childhood. The images are taken from your childhood. The childhood images remain fixed in your mind forever, into your unconscious. That too becomes a part of it. So, minor events of the day, of the previous day on which you sleep, plus somatic sensations, plus childhood experiences is what is the or the raw material or ingredients of your dreams. This is one of the means in which wish fulfillment takes place. The second means of wish fulfillment is called, I write it on the same board so that it remains connected with the rest of the idea. This is not associated with dreams, but this is Either you fulfill your unfulfilled desires through your dreams, or sorry, the access to your unconscious is via dreams, or it's via parapraxis. Parapraxis is another means of access to your unconscious, to your unconscious, or to the unconscious of a character or an author. What are parapraxis? Parapraxis are the means to access the unconscious, and these are unaccountable slips of the tongue. जैसे गलती से कुछ निकल जाता है मुंह से, वो यूं ही नहीं होता है. जो गलती से निकल जाता है, that's unconscious coming out, and you feel sorry. They're called Freudian slips, yeah, or slips of the tongue. And the uh, concept Freud uses for it is parapraxis. These are slips of the tongue or failures of the memory. Sometimes you fail to recall something. You say, I'm not able to recall it. Failures of memory is also one of the parapraxis. What is it that you are not able to recall is associated with your unconscious. Your unconscious is not allowing you to recall that. It fears recalling that event. And it's a deliberate attempt of the mind for you to forget that, because that is harmful for you, for your self-preservation. Certain memories are harmful for your self-preservation. Therefore, the mind deliberately attempts you to forget it. Forgetting is conscious, it said. Freud says forgetting is conscious. You consciously forget things because it's harmful for your existence. It's harmful for your self preservation. Failures of memory, slips of the tongue, bunglings. Bunglings with the words is also coming from your unconscious. You can have another access to your unconscious through them. Misreadings. If you happen to misread a text, you read for some word, you read some other word. This too is very close to slips of the tongue. This misreading is not something that just happens just like that, but memory is at work, the mind is at work. Your id is throwing up words into your head and you're misreading. You are reading the words that are not supposed to be there on the text. Your id is throwing those words onto the text and you misread. Misreading is also an access to paradoxes. So next time onwards, if you read a text of literature, if you find slips happening with a character, there is an access to the unconscious. If you see failures of memory occurring in a character, there is an access. Why does this person not remember this? Is not able to recall it because there is conscious forgetting happening behind that. Bunglings that a character does, misreading a character does, or apart from that, there is also misconstruence, like somebody says something and you are misconstruing it. It's what your head wants you to do. This also helps you in tracing the unconscious. And there is one more thing that he has studied, which he says is also damagingly at work. Your unconscious is damagingly at work. Your wishes or intentions are there in the jokes you crack. In the jokes, he believes there is always and always libidinal content, means the content of sexual pleasure. There is a libidinal content and also aggressive content. You speak of violence in your jokes, which is actually you fulfilling your desires of the id in those jokes, be it libidinal jokes, which we call non-veg jokes, or even in veg jokes, you have these violent jokes. Tikha lal. Any questions? That's the end of the session.